In my lifetime, I've had the opportunity to dabble in the arts of music and video production, and during those times, I've had the fortunate chance to meet some of the most interesting people. I'd like to take a moment now to introduce you to some of the folks who have taken some of the side roads in life and have unique stories to tell. So to kick this segment off, I decided let's go big. Through a friend, I was given the chance to spend some time with Artimus Pyle, the rock and roll Hall of Fame drummer from the legendary band Lynyrd Skynyrd. Artimus stays very active through a number of music projects, and Mike and I were able to catch up with him at the end of his show with the Gary Maverick Band. So let me shut up and let Mr. Artimus Pyle tell you a thing or two about what he's come across on these side roads of life.
The one thing, the soundtrack from Nebworth, there was 300,000 people. But man, they added Screaming Girls. I swear, that I'm listening to it because somebody was playing some of it. You know, the guys were playing it on the radio, and it was like, you know, Mr. Saturday Night Special. Oh, Ronnie, oh God. You know, I mean, it was like, they put in some stuff that you wouldn't have been able to hear from a 45-foot stage. We were on the Rolling. We opened up for the Rolling Stones. It was great. I met Paul McCartney, hung out with him. I met Jack Nicholson. Do you realize that every town in America, there is a young band that covers Skynyrd songs? Every town. I can jam in every city of America. Ronnie Van Zant did that for me. But as far as a legacy, I mean, the music lives on and lives on. I see it every day when I talk to people after the concerts. I hear where they were when we crashed the plane. I hear stories about what each song means to them. You know, the music. They buried their friend to Freebird. A lot of bikers, you know. And so it's still meaningful to me that and I'll give you one example, man. Check this out. There was a thing on CNN called Jimmy Carter, Rock and Roll President.
Yeah, I saw it.
And at the end of it, Bob Dylan quoted Ronnie Van Zant. Very end, they're playing Simple Man in the background, and Bob Dylan goes, "All you got to do is listen to that song by Lynyrd Skynyrd." And he quoted Ronnie's words. I said, Bob Dylan just did that. It shocked me because I watched it to the end, and then the zinger was Bob kind of throwing that in. So the thing is that once I got out of the wreckage, I knew that the only thing that was going to help my friends was help. And I had to go get that help, man. You know, I made some splints, I made some tourniquets, I helped some people, but I could see that there needed to be professional people there. And so that's what I did. That's what the movie tells. And, they Hollywooded it up just a little bit, but it's a true story.
So here's a question that is on my mind.
There was a snake.
Now, Johnny Moat, I think was the guy's name?
John the farmer, 19 years old, looked like little Abner.
He did end up coming back with you to help?
No, I got to his farmhouse. Yeah. He fired. I heard a gunshot. Something stung me. I fell to the ground. He ran over and said, "Oh my God." We went into his house. I took the phone off the wall, did not ask permission, called long distance back to my wife, 30 seconds. And I said, "Honey, we've had a plane crash. You're going to see it in the news. It's going to be on the radio. It's going to be everywhere. I'm alive."
I've been shot, but I'm alive.
I didn't tell her that. I didn't say I've been shot. I was in shock. I was in shock from the plane crash when I got there. So when the guy shot me, I didn't think shit about it. He denied that he shot me. And then Jake Tapper on CNN, he was with VH1 then, and he said, "Well, Mr. Moat, did you have a gun? Did you come out of the cabin with a gun?" And he said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Did you point it at Artimus?" And Johnny said, "Yeah." And he said, "Did you pull the trigger?" Johnny goes, "Yeah." But I didn't mean to. He said, must have been a ricochet. And I don't care what it was. I heard a gunshot, I saw a gun, and I felt something sting me. So, and I'm already in shock from the plane crash. What did they want me to do? Take a bullet between the eyes? So Johnny, he didn't also, this is hilarious, he didn't want to be the guy. Yeah, man, Lynyrd Skynyrd crashed in my field, and one of them survived, but don't worry, I shot him. Yeah, I wasn't going to let any of those varmints live. You know, and it's like I never was mad at him. He was protecting his family. He had children in there, and Grandma and Grandpa and Uncle Joe and Aunt Dodo. I mean, when I opened up that door, man, it looked like something out of Little House on the Prairie. And I went straight to the phone, called my wife, and I looked at these people. I'm covered with blood, and I look like Charles Manson. And they're going, Mama, help me, Mama. You know, but we were gone. Johnny put me in his truck, and I said he looked like little Abner. He had a waist about that big around. He was about that wide at the shoulders. And he put me in. He held me against the seat with one arm and drove through a ditch, up a bank, through a fence. You know, I mean, he just held me. And I was in pain. I was going, like that. And I said, keep going, keep going. So, you know, I did what I think anybody would have done that could and had the training. It came out March 30th last year, the whole pandemic year. They tried to spend $2.5 million to stop us doing the movie, and our budget was $1,800,000. And I want to make it very clear, I get no money from that movie. I didn't ask for one single dime on the back of that movie. I wanted the story told, and we did it. And it's done now. We won in the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. A full majority voted against the people suing us, which was Judy Van Zant, Ronnie's widow, and Gary Rossington. I asked them to come with me to the table and let's make a movie together. They instead decided to sue me. So that, it was hard, it was tough and everything, but there's worse things. Hey, you know who I got to play Gary in the movie? Dig this. You don't know this. All right. The guy that played Gary, this is LA people. We didn't have a budget to go on location. The guy that played Gary, his name was Navarone Garibaldi. He's Priscilla Presley's son.
No shit.
I found a studio that had a Steinway grand piano, Ovation Studios in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And I started sessioning there with Bill Stevens. So Bill was Artemis's keyboard player.
And Bill wrote a song for the movie as well. It's an instrumental piece called Six Souls, and it's it's a masterful piece of music. And then, of course, Gary's Kentucky Brother was on there.
Yeah.
And, a side note, I did not play drums on that song. And I felt weird playing drums on a song that was about me. And then I'm Kentucky Brother, look at me, and it's like, so it was too much. So we got, like going into the studio and playing on Gary's stuff, you push, you pull, you compromise, you hammer it out, and that's fun. That's fun.
So you little queen, you say you wanna have some fun with the spoils in the band, a bunch of sons of guns.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show.